today I have some important stuff to share with you. We're going to be talking about what happened with Kobe Bryant and the events surrounding what happened, as well as some prophetic things that you definitely need to be paying attention to when we go over this if you have not already seen it. Now, in case you have not heard, what we're being told is that Kobe Bryant, who played for the NBA, recently passed away due to a helicopter crash as of 2 days ago. Now, what's being reported is that 2 days ago on Sunday, Kobe Bryant was on the way to Mamba Academy with 13-year-old Gianna, that's pictured right here. As you can see right here in Thousand Oaks, California, they were on their way to a basketball game. And before getting there, that's when the helicopter crash took place. Now, that's, of course, what we're being told. Now, again, pay careful attention to some of the Illuminati predictive programming, but also pay attention to just some very eerie things about all of this. Now, the first thing to pay attention to is how this happened on January 26, 2020. Now, what's very interesting and suspicious indeed about that is the fact that it occurred on the exact same day as the 62nd Annual Grammy Awards. Now, what I find eerie about that is normally the Grammys take place in February. On years past, the Grammys don't take place for another 2 weeks from now. So why this year did they all of a sudden decide to have it 2 weeks before, towards the end of January, coinciding conveniently enough with what happened with Kobe Bryant? Could this be another Illuminati sacrifice? Could this be another Illuminati offering and another satanic ritual? You decide. So that's the first thing to pay attention to, and this video is titled Kobe Bryant and the End of Days for a reason. The next thing to pay attention to that many of you have already noted was this eerie tweet that was made on Twitter back on November 13th, 2012. Now again, you see the 13 right there, and isn't it interesting how November 13th, 3 years later in 2015, the events in Paris took place, but this tweet right here says Kobe is going to end up dying in a helicopter crash, and then look what's reported how many years later. Do they know something that we don't know? Do they know something, or are they hiding something from us? What is the bigger agenda here, and what is the real Illuminati messaging that's going on? Another thing I found very interesting and suspicious indeed about all of this, and many of you have already noted this, and I know this has been shared around, but it's this right here from this article that says, for Mirror, Kobe Bryant helicopter crash death chillingly predicted by cartoon 4 years ago. The death of the superstar basketball player who passed away at the age of 41 in a helicopter crash was eerily depicted 3 years ago in a Comedy Central cartoon. Why do you think that's the case? Now again, some of you have already noted the cartoon, and we're going to actually show you a picture of it. We're not going to play the clip on this video right now for copyright reasons, but if you would like to look it up, you definitely can on your own time. Now this is the part that I found most shocking about all of this, because many have noted the cartoon, but did you even look further into the cartoon and note the title of it? Because what you'll start to see is that there's something deeper going on. There is a deeper message, and the question is, do you see it with both your eyes open? But it says here from the report, the shock death of Kobe Bryant in a helicopter crash was hauntingly predicted 4 years ago in an episode of a cartoon entitled Legends of Chamberlain Heights. And when I show you when the cartoon was aired and what day it was aired, that should also have some alarm bells ringing, and I'm going to tell you why. Because then it says, following the sad news of the death, the episode, which was called End of Days, has been shared multiple times by fans. The animated U.S. comedy followed high school pals Milk, Grover, and Jamal, who were subs on the basketball team, but desperate to become popular. Now here's a picture of how the cartoon looks, but once again, pay careful attention how the episode title comes from what? Quote, End of Days. Do you understand what time we're in and the times we're living in? Or is all of this just mere entertainment? Is it all just mere coincidence? Because here is the actual clip from the cartoon, a picture of it, as you can see from that episode End of Days from Legend of Chamberlain Heights. And right here, this is the part where literally it depicts Kobe Bryant in the helicopters you can see right here, involved in a crash. And then, spoiler alert, Kobe Bryant hands over the championship rings, and then kaboom, the helicopter explodes. While many people have already noted the cartoon and have made the connection with Kobe Bryant in the cartoon as subliminal predictive programming, because we know that's what Hollywood does, especially even with 9/11, but there's something else that's even deeper about this, because when you do a little bit of research on this actual cartoon and the actual episode when it aired, you'll start to see something else and what is really being foreshadowed here, because here we are at IMDb where it says Legends of Chamberlain Heights, End of Days. And again, if you would like to see that clip, you definitely can on your own time. But it says right here, a leaked sex tape causes what they call a global internet blackout. Pay careful attention to this internet blackout, and the legends must find a way to survive the apocalypse. Meanwhile, Mick cashes in on his pirated Chinese satellite connection, which gives him access to the only internet left. Isn't it very interesting how that's all they're talking about in the news when it comes to China, not only with the Chinese New Year, but with what, the coronavirus too? Wow, what perfect timing. A leaked sex tape? Who does that sound like? The Kardashians? Not only that, but what? An internet blackout? Why is that so very important? Don't you see how this is what? This is just another Illuminati sign, and what just took place with Kobe Bryant, because yes, it's a satanic ritual. What just took place with that ritual is signaling what? Signaling soon the blackout. Not only that, but when did it air? It just so happened to air November 16, 2016, or 11/16/16. If you flip those numbers, what do you get? 9/11 twice. Do you see why that's so very important? Because what? They're literally showing you and literally telling you that what? A second 9/11 is even at the door. Internet blackout. That's all they've been talking about, as we're going to once again go over with the Golden Globes that just recently occurred. Time's Up blackout was mentioned. Surviving the apocalypse. Do you still think that this is entertainment, or is there something deeper going on here? Because what? End of days. Do you understand what time it really is? Because the elite Illuminati, they know, but the question is, do you? Now, here's another thing that I wanted to note that I don't think many people really noted already or covered, and it has to do with this. So again, you just saw that recently that cartoon that showed Kobe Bryant exploding in the helicopter was aired on November 16, 2016 from Legends of Chamberlain Heights, and coincidentally enough, an episode entitled The End of Days. But did you remember what happened in November of 2016, just 3 days after that episode aired on November 19th, 2016? We've covered this before, but remember how Kanye West went on a rant and tangent about Jay-Z, Beyonce, Google, Obama, Clinton, media, and concert, and then left the Sacramento concert after half an hour? Do you remember this? And remember what we told you about this over 3 years ago and why this was so very important? But in case you don't, we're going to put the pieces together for you, because pay attention to the dates. Remember how that cartoon aired on November 16, 2016 that just so happened to predict and show Kobe Bryant exploding in the helicopter? Not only that, but again, how the episode was entitled End of Days. But then 3 days after that, this performance took place as of November 19, 2016. And what is one of the things that Kanye West mentions? Again, there was vulgar language in the rant as well, so please pardon the language. But as you see right here, when it comes to Mark Zuckerberg, when Kanye West went on that rant, Kanye West mentioned something that was very eerie, and that's this, where Kanye West said, quote, "Then you went to look for aliens. Me and Kid Cudi are aliens right here, bro." Do you understand what this is telling you? And again, we've noted how this occurred on what day? November 19th, 2016, or again, 11/19/16. That's once again what? 9/11 twice. More signaling. What? Aliens. Who are the aliens? They're preparing for their alien deception with Project Bluebeam. The aliens are the fallen ones, the demons in disguise, and they're what? Planning and staging their arrival. Again, Illuminati messaging with the 9/11 mentioned twice. It's mentioned 2 times. Why? Because they're preparing for their second 9/11. And could this second 9/11 have something to do with a blackout or a power outage that they're more than likely going to blame on North Korea or Iran or any other nation that they choose, or Russia? Even though we know that it's going to be an inside job, just like the first 9/11. Wow, nothing new under the sun. But while everyone's focused on the whole Kobe Bryant, meanwhile, there were 3 rockets that hit the U.S. Embassy compound in Baghdad on the exact same day. Meanwhile, The Simpsons has even predicted and foreshadowed the coronavirus in one of their episodes entitled March in Chains that aired back in 1993 from Season 4, Episode 21. What are the odds? What a coincidence that this episode would even come out and would even depict and show the flu spreading all over the place, and they even called it the Osaka flu, very similar to what's going on in Wuhan, China, even though that's in Japan. Do you see the similarities here and how it's spreading? Do you see the predictive programming, just like with the other cartoon foreshadowing Kobe Bryant? It's all a message. It's not a coincidence. It's Illuminati secretive messaging, because they're doing it in order to tell one another in secret code what is to take place and what is to come, the events to come. Because yes, the devil knows scripture and the devil knows prophecy too. So again, this is an episode from 1993 of The Simpsons entitled March in Chains that shows and foreshadows and predicts the coronavirus years before it actually happens, once again from Season 4, Episode 21. And in case you missed it, we just did a video uploading about the coronavirus and the real truth about it. Because if you really think that it comes from and originates from China and that it was not originated in some laboratory, it's time to think again. And speaking of the Golden Globes and speaking of the apocalypse, another thing I found very interesting and suspicious indeed was this report right here from the Golden Globes this year in 2020 that says Patricia Arquette's Golden Globe speech warned of a world on the brink of apocalypse. And mind you, this was barely 3 weeks ago. And then barely 3 weeks later, the event with Kobe Bryant takes place. And then, of course, referencing that episode from 2016, End of Days, from that cartoon that talks about an apocalypse. It seems like the apocalypse is being talked about all over, even with the Foot Locker commercial as well that hinted about an apocalypse. Do you think that's a surprise or a coincidence? I don't think so. Now again, it's just very interesting and suspicious indeed how that comment was made at the Golden Globes this year. Remember what we talked about with the Golden Globes for 2018 and 2019 with, quote, blackout? Remember that? And didn't that episode that featured Kobe Bryant in it, didn't it just so happen to mention about a blackout? Wow, and it just so happens to be called End of Days? Wow, because this is from Quartz that says the, quote, blackout at the 2018 Golden Globes made for a dazzling red carpet. And we talked about this with the Illuminati symbolism, how they're all wearing all black, and how they did it for the Time's Up campaign, Time's Up, and they did it to foreshadow and symbolize the death of America. Especially when they know that the 400 years are almost up. But do you? And then it goes on to say about Time's Up campaign, in which some 300 what they call women in Hollywood launched to raise awareness and funding for blue-collar women who have suffered sexual harassment and discrimination. But once again, they're literally telling you once again that Time's Up. A blackout, wearing all black, blackout. Just like with that episode with Kobe Bryant and the predictive programming, a blackout, internet blackout, the second 9/11. This is what they're foreshadowing, and this is letting us know that it's even closer than ever to their staged second 9/11. Again, the question to think about is all of this a surprise or a coincidence, or are they literally trying to tell you and messaging to you subliminally that we are in the end of days and that soon enough they will be staging their second 9/11 that could have to do with an internet blackout, so-called aliens, or all of the above? No conspiracy theories attached, but the last thing I wanted to go over in this video, and this is a very important thing, is that this is the truth, folks. You all have to understand who Kobe Bryant really is and who Kobe Bryant really works for. You have to understand that they are all part of the satanic cabal, the satanic agenda, and they only have one job in mind. Their job is to try to deceive you as much as possible. They don't really care about you. They don't really care about anything else. They don't care about your well-being, nor are they trying to entertain you. What they are trying to do is to program and subjugate your mind to their Illuminati, demonic, satanic gestures and references. It's all a spell is what they're trying to do. You see Kobe Bryant right here holding up this Freemasonic hand gesture, as in Kobe Bryant serves and worships the devil. They serve and worship Satan. We've already gone over this in how many videos, how your celebrities, they do demonic, disgusting rituals behind closed doors. They eat poop and drink blood and drink urine and other disgusting things. How do you think Kobe Bryant got to the top? How do you think that is? Do you really think that, it was just because of hard work? And by the way, in case you don't already know, the NBA uses magnets. Does it really have to do with talent, or does it really have to do with signing your name in blood to Satan, as these celebrities have done and have been open about it even in their music? And Kobe Bryant is no exception. And again, I'm here for the truth, and this is the truth, folks. This is the reality of who these so-called celebrities really are. Their job is to deceive in any way, shape, or form. Here's what I'm talking about, because again, the word says that Satan has deceived the entire world. Not only that, but if it were possible, even the very elect would be deceived. Here is a picture of Kobe Bryant with the alleged daughter, Gianna. When you take a look at this picture, who is really the man and who is really the female? Who is really the boy and who is really the girl? Pay careful attention, because again, this is how they deceive. If you don't think that there are transgenders in Hollywood, it's time to think again. This is exactly how they deceive, and what I'm here to do is to open your eyes to the truth so that you are not deceived. We've already done a video covering the transgenders, but you can even see it right here. You see the sloped forehead right there? You see how they try to hide the cheekbone right there? You see what they're really trying to do? It's all a deception, and you cannot fall victim to their deceptions. And we've already done a video on this. Please take a look at it so that you will not be deceived to Satan's devices, because this is some real stuff that's going on. You may think it's far-fetched, but the truth is stranger than fiction. At least that's how the quote goes. And again, here is LeBron James holding up the 666. Why do you think LeBron James is holding that up? Don't you understand that that's a reference to what? Satan, demonic worship, Freemasons, the Illuminati. That's who they serve. And again, Kobe Bryant is no different. They're no different. It's the same thing. And also, I'll even tell you this, because this is how far the deception goes, folks. Celebrities have even been known to fake their own deaths, and this is the case even for Michael Jackson, Tupac, Prince, and many others. In fact, on Saturday Night Live, they joked about it how many times that Tupac is still living and that Tupac is still alive. Saturday Night Live has even told you this how many times on multiple occasions. Do you think that it's comedy? Do you think that it's a joke? Now, I'm not saying that this is the case for Kobe Bryant, but what I'm telling you is that you need to understand the deceptions, understand that Hollywood is a very demonic, very deceptive place, and do not fall victim to it, and do not fall victim to idolatry, but rather seek Yahuwah and his true son Yahusha, so that the truth will make you free. This is Truth Unveiled here, saying as always, Shalom.
I've known Kobe since